evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 28th of July, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. An explosion at a restaurant in a Velipoje beach resort in the north of Albania left 4 people wounded, 2 of whom have sustained serious injuries. The owner of the restaurant, his son and a Kosovar citizen who worked at the restaurant have been transported by helicopter to Tirana's hospital for specialised treatment. Also, one of the doctors of Velipoje's healthcare centre was asphyxiated during the transport of the injured from the scene to the ambulance. The doctor of the burns department at Tirana's hospital has said that the patients have suffered severe injuries. 2 patients are in our department so far. They both have severe burns throughout their body. Their situation is critical. We are continuing with intensive treatment. For the moment, the patients are conscious, but they are under the effects of painkillers. The initial suspicion was that a gas cylinder exploded, but the expertise of the state's technical inspectorate revealed that the explosion was caused by a gas leak from the tank, located in the restaurant's basement. The inspectors from the State Inspectorate entered the restaurant where the explosion occurred and confirmed that the gas cylinders had not exploded. The 1,000-litre gas tanks were in good technical condition. They stated that if the gas tanks were to explode, the situation would have been catastrophic. The State Technical Inspectorate will make further investigations as to whether there are other similar cases and will take measures to remove such gas tanks. The 50 best employees selected based on the competitions organised by the Department of the Public Administration were summoned by Prime Minister Edi Rama today. The Prime Minister told the employees to prepare a report regarding the performance in the departments they are working, to be submitted by August 10th. Based on these reports, the Prime Minister will make an evaluation of the relations between the employees and the directors of departments in order to further improve the service of public administration officers. Are you satisfied with your work? Does the work meet your expectations? Have you ever heard anything from the political directors, anything else except the order to do something? Do you know the objectives of the leadership team? Prepare a report, take this seriously and be assured that this will be 100% confidential. If we want to increase the level of performance in the administration, then we must increase the performance of the political rapport with the administration. To do this, we should understand as much as possible from the people who are part of the administration. We will take out some shared points from these reports and we will include them in a questionnaire that will be distributed to the civil service. An internal alliance between the political director and the administration is needed. Employees of the public administration should not be people who go to work for 5 minutes and then go and have a coffee because they have nothing to do, declared the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister Edi Rama added that all opinions from employees are important in order to change what needs to be changed. The Prime Minister vowed to clear the public administration of what he considered to be rapacious people. The Democratic Party is about to finalise 2 reports on the claimed irregularities in June 25's electoral process. Once they are finished, the reports will be handed over to the OSCE and to other international institutions. According to the Democratic Party, the first report will detail facts and evidence gathered by the candidates for members of Parliament regarding the manipulation of elections. Meanwhile, the second report is the one prepared by the provisional ministers, which focused on the use of public administration employees and public assets in the electoral campaign or to skew the citizens' will. Sources within the Democratic Party told an Aura News journalist that the reports will be sent to international institutions within a few days. A working group has been set up by the Democratic Party and is gathering data, which, according to the group members, prove that a wide mechanism was enabled throughout the country in order to manipulate and change the people's will. The report will be detailed and will list specific names of officials, politicians and people who, according to the DP's candidates, engaged in manipulating the elections. The sources say that concrete evidence will be presented. The most frequently denounced cases are the ones about violence and pressure of voters, buying of votes, and also concrete cases that have been publicly denounced by the DP chairman, Lulzim Basha. Meanwhile, the report of the provisional ministers, which will be reviewed by the Vice Prime Minister, will also be sent to the OSCE. The drafting of this report is also the reason why the provisional ministers and Vice Prime Minister have not yet resigned. They took on their positions after the agreement reached between the Prime Minister and DP Chairman on May 18. After losing the June 25 elections, the DP Chairman has publicly declared that the citizens' vote on June 25 was deviated by the current majority through the use of criminal gangs with vote buying and money coming from drugs and corruption. Yesterday, Prime Minister Edi Rama held a meeting with the directors of the offices for the registration of immovable properties, to whom he told that they must immediately resign. The reason behind the request, the Prime Minister added, is the absence of responsibility and seriousness in responding to citizens' complaints. The Prime Minister warned of criminal proceedings for any violator of the law and for the return of duty to all those who have found to have worked in a correct manner after verification by an ad hoc commission. As a result of the order given by the Prime Minister, the directors of immovable property registration offices in Jurocasta, Fir, Elbasan, Permet and Tepelen resigned today. The director of Shkodra's immovable property registration office is expected to make a decision. Shkodra's director took on the duty during the electoral campaign when the former director was dismissed. Also, the director of Durrës Immovable Property Registration Office, who was appointed only a month and a half ago, has not yet reacted as to whether he will resign or not. The director of Dibra's Immovable Property Registration Office continued his work today normally, with not a single word uttered regarding resignation. The Director of Prisons has signed the dismissal order for the Director of Drenova's prison in Korça after the escape of 2 prisoners. After being provided with a permission to leave, the prisoners did not return to their prison cells. The 2 prisoners, who were convicted for stealing and serious injury, did not return to prison after finishing their permission. The case involving the 2 prisoners occurred sometime in the past 2 weeks. Only a few days after taking on his duty, the Director of Prisons has also warned of potentially dismissing the directors of the Pechin, Lushnya, Leja and Durrës prisons. The warning for the 4 individual prison directors was given after an investigation into the operation of the prisons. The Prosecutor General, Adriatic Lala, held a meeting today with the prosecutors of the districts, with the focus being the changes to the new Code of Criminal Procedure. The Chief Prosecutor and prosecutors discussed the way the district's prosecutions will act in specific cases for criminal offences that are included in the new Code of Criminal Procedure. Investigation of wealth for people arrested for drug trafficking will be conducted by the district's prosecutions. These prosecutions will also have the competence to investigate domestic crimes and terrorism. In cases where the drug trafficking is operated by more than 3 people, this will be determined to be a criminal group. In these cases, the investigation will be made by the Special Structure Against Crime, and the investigation of wealth will be made by the prosecution of serious crimes. The Chief Prosecutor and prosecutors also discussed the declaring of non-competence for certain criminal offences, and they agreed on keeping the right of the court to make that decision. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.